So I was getting ready for bed and I realized, actually, talking about nightlife, there are some things I should warn you about. So here's three things that you should watch out for if you're going out in Shanghai or China. The first thing that you should watch out for in China is, unfortunately, fake alcohol. You'll notice this, I don't want to mention names for venues because it's hard to confirm, but there are certain places that I've been where, you look at the bottle if you're ordering a bottle and the packaging in that bottle just seems a little bit funny. It doesn't really seem like, something that you get out of the factory, or they just don't do a great job repackaging it and making it look like a new bottle. And then also when you go and you actually taste it, right? So sometimes you'll, maybe you're buying brandy or whiskey and you've had that brand before in the States or in Europe somewhere, and you're coming and you're ordering it here. You'll notice it just doesn't taste right. And if it doesn't taste right and it's something that you drank before, you should be careful. It could be fake alcohol or repackaged alcohol or watered down alcohol. I wish this wasn't as big of a problem as it seems to be in Shanghai, but I've been to a number of venues and it seems to be a recurring issue. It's just, standard practice if you go to KTV, where you're singing with your friends and you order a bottle, or if you're going out to, a club and you're ordering something, whatever alcohol they use might not be real alcohol. When you go out into a club and you're ordering a cocktail, what typically happens is like you'll order a drink, a mixed drink. They'll serve it to you. They'll pour it out of a bottle that looks legit. You'll have a sip of it, and it tastes fine at that moment because you're probably a little bit drunk anyways, and the music is bumping. And it's hard to detect kind of fake alcohol at that situation. But the next morning when you wake up, you'll just have the worst hangover ever. You'll just feel really bad. And that is kind of a sign, or at least what I consider, a sign of fake alcohol. Just because, if I've had that drink before and I've had that vodka before and that drink, I know my tolerance. I know how to stay hydrated. You'll notice a big discrepancy in where you're getting your drinks and how you feel the night after. And I say that's a pretty good indication that that place, you should watch out for. But besides that, if you go to a normal bar, most bars that I've been to, most speakeasies that I've been to don't have that issue. The places that you really have to watch out for are like these KTVs, where you're singing karaoke with your friends and you order some alcohol, or if you go out to a club and you're ordering mixed drinks from the bar, they seem to kind of do something with their alcohol there and you don't feel very good the day after. The second thing you should watch out for are something that I actually haven't had experience with myself, getting in trouble with, but if you go to a place like Shintendi in Shanghai, when you leave late at night, there are going to be quite a few guys or even girls walking around, and they're trying to solicit you. They're going to ask you, what are you looking for? Are you looking for a good time? They know where girls are. They know where the after party is. It's really easy to spot these guys, but it's going to be normally one or two people, normally just one person walking around, trying to chat you up, trying to bring you to the next party spot, trying to, sell you, what sounds like prostitution or sex services. I've never done this actually, but I have been approached by these guys a number of times, and I've never gone with them, of course. But what I've heard is not, that you go and you get these services, but that they might actually bring you somewhere and try and scam you. So I've heard this from other people, but they might bring you to a place, you sit down, you have drinks with this girl, and then all of a sudden they give you this bill, and it's this huge bill, and you try and argue with them, you try not to pay, and then out of nowhere, 3, 4, 5 big guys come out and they essentially force you to pay. So it's kind of like an extortion thing. Just be careful. If you're looking for those types of services, you always run the risk of this kind of thing happening. But especially in the Shintendi area, if some guy or some girl walks up to you and asks you if you want these things, just be careful. I definitely would not go with them. And the third thing that you want to watch out for are actually these ladies that will sell you flowers. And it's not that you have to watch out for them. I mean, they're not going to do anything bad, but they are very clever. And they work most nights. Basically what happens is you get out of the club around 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and there'll be an old lady, and she'll be holding a bundle of paper flowers, and she'll be very persistent in trying to sell you a flower or give you one to give to whoever you're with or any girls that are in your group, and they'll kind of chase you around a little bit if you're waiting for a car. I don't know too much about how this works on the back end, but I have heard stories where these profits are kind of split, or it's some kind of cartel or ring, and they're not necessarily compensated very well. But what I'd say is just, be respectful if they come up to you and you don't want the flour. Just say no, no, thank you, and then just be prepared because they are pretty persistent. They might try and like force you to take the flour actually. So you don't really, it's not really dangerous or anything, but it is something that happens quite often. Going back to number two, actually, I do have a friend and he went on a dating app, and he went on a dating app with a girl that he met, and after dinner she's like, oh, let me bring you to a place to have drinks. He went with her, and again, kind of the same thing happened where he had a drink. It was way too expensive. He tried to leave, and these guys made him pay up. So just be careful if you're a foreigner and you're not too familiar with Shanghai. If you're in any kind of situation that seems a little bit shady, just be a little bit careful. Probably you don't have to fear for your life. I think Shanghai is very safe. I think the worst that's probably going to happen to you is you might get ripped off or scammed in this case. Otherwise, going out in Shanghai is very safe. It's pretty easy to get around. Take Didi home, and there are a ton of people on the streets. So almost any time at night, I've walked back, after a night out, and things are pretty safe. You don't really have to be careful. You don't really have to be too worried about your personal safety too much. You should always be vigilant, and if you are someone that's had too much to drink, then you should have someone check on you and make sure you got home safely. But generally, Shanghai is a very safe place. Just watch out for fake alcohol. Watch out for these people that want to extort you. And third, be prepared to be, have some hard sales from these grandmas selling roses after a night out. All right, that's it. See you guys. Bye.